I thought my mother's cheerful call meant reconciliation, not a carefully planned ambush. My name is Alara. I'm a 30-year-old graphic designer living in Lisbon. And I'm sharing this because sometimes the family you love is the one you must learn to leave behind. Last December, my mother reached out, her voice cracking over the phone, pleading for me to visit for the holidays. She said the house felt empty, that my absence was a constant ache. A part of me, the hopeful daughter who still remembered bedtime, stories, believed her. So I booked the long-haul flight from Portugal to Chicago, 2 connections, a dead phone, and a suitcase weighed down with gifts from my nieces. When I finally arrived at my childhood home, exhausted and disheveled, I rang the bell. The door opened. There was no embrace, no inquiry about my journey. My mother simply glanced at my luggage and said, "Perfect timing. You'll watch the girls, your brother's family, and we are leaving for the mountains tomorrow." My brother appeared behind her, suitcases in hand, and chuckled. "Try not to let them destroy your stuff, Alara." The entire entryway erupted in laughter at my expense. I didn't shout. A strange, cold clarity washed over me. I smiled, placed my bag carefully on the floor, and looked directly at my mother. "We need to have a family meeting before anyone goes anywhere," I stated calmly. And that single sentence changed everything. The laughter died instantly. To understand that moment, you need to know what led to it. That late-night plea wasn't born of pure loneliness. For years, I'd been the invisible financial backbone. Just this once was the family mantra. Dad's car repairs, I sent funds. Brother's failed side hustle, I covered the debt. The urgent property tax bill, my transfer saved the day, followed by social media photos of my parents at a new steakhouse. I lived frugally in a small apartment abroad, yet I was funding a lifestyle I didn't share. Family loyalty should not feel like a financial transaction. Before booking my flight home, I did something new. I documented everything. Every Venmo, every bank transfer, every "we'll pay you back" text saved over 3 years. The total was staggering. But the real shock was an old loan document I discovered. My name was on their mortgage as a cosigner, a formality they'd never properly explained, yet I'd been covering payment shortfalls for years. So when my mom cried about missing me, I was staring at a number that proved I was only valued when a bill was due. I almost didn't go. But then I decided if they were this brazen, it was time for transparency. I boarded the plane, but I also brought a folder printed statements, a simple repayment agreement from a legal website, and a plan. So, in that doorway, as they laughed, I was no longer their predictable, compliant sister and daughter. I was an auditor. In the kitchen, a glossy travel brochure lay on the counter. My mom pointed to it. "This is why we need you, sweetheart. The girls adore you. We finally get a real break." I recognized the resort. I also recognized the credit. Card number on the booking confirmation. My card. I gathered everyone at the dining table. My dad sat sternly. My brother scrolled on his phone. I opened my laptop. "Before your trip," I began, "we're settling accounts." One displayed. A spreadsheet, line by line. The $1,800 for the roof repair last spring. The $3,000 for my brother's business emergency. The hundreds for utilities, streaming services, and grocery deliveries, all auto drafts from my account. I scrolled to the bold total at the bottom. $58,700 over 3 years. The room fell silent. "This is a record," I said, placing the repayment agreement beside their itinerary. "It just states this money wasn't a gift and outlines a plan to return it, even slowly." My dad erupted. "We're family. You don't treat family like this." I held his gaze. "Real family doesn't hide a loan in their daughter's name," I replied. "You cannot buy belonging with silence and money." Then I clicked to another tab, their resort booking. About this vacation, I canceled it. It was booked with my money on my account. The word canceled glowed on the screen. My father stood up furious. You can't do that. I already did, I said quietly. And there's the matter of the house. I showed them the cosigner email from the bank. My mother paled. Alara, please, it was just paperwork. I had already consulted a financial advisor. I played a short clip of her explaining I could petition to be removed from the loan, which would force them to refinance or potentially sell. You're making us homeless. My dad shouted. No, I countered. I'm choosing not to sink with a ship I don't captain. I then showed the autopays on my screen and one by one canceled them live. The Wi-Fi bill, the family Netflix, the car insurance top-up. Each confirmation email chimed on my phone. My brother, panicked, said, You're pulling the rug out all at once. I turned to him. You're a father of two. The rug was never yours to stand on. I packed my suitcase. My dad pointed to the door. If you walk out, don't come back. I left. The Uber didn't take me to a hotel. It took me to a small, empty condo I'd secretly bought in the city with my savings, my first real anchor dot in the quiet. I felt guilt, but beneath it, a fragile peace. They would now face the true cost of their lives. Weeks later, my dad posted vague victim blaming stories online. I didn't engage. But I did ensure the bank and relevant institutions had a clear picture of the financial history. Letters about loan reassessment and audits began arriving at their home. My brother eventually texted, admitting he'd taken extra jobs. I finally see what things cost, he wrote. Months later, my mother visited my condo. She looked tired. She handed me a small check from selling some of her things. We did use you, she admitted softly. It wasn't about the amount, it was the acknowledgement. My father never apologized. I muted him everywhere. That Christmas, I sat alone in my own space with my own tree. No emergency calls, no guilt. Here's what I learned. Distance isn't cruelty. It's often the only way to stop funding your own neglect. Some people will call you selfish the moment you stop setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. If your loyalty is measured only by your willingness to pay, is that really love? Or is it time to rewrite the terms? If this story resonated with you, please give this video a like and follow Winds of Thought for more narratives about difficult truths and personal journeys.